let's talk about the Jimmy and Gunther match because we did a big episode on this recently, and we tried to fantasy book this feud to make it a little bit more interesting, and it got interesting tonight, fellas. We pretty much assumed what was going to happen tonight, and Jimmy Uso got beat up pretty bad like we all expected. This was going to push Jey Uso over the edge and give us the Jey Uso that needs to show up at WrestleMania. In order for him to be able to beat Gunther, he's going to have to pull from underneath him, you know. And I think what we saw tonight on Monday Night Raw is going to give us that Jey Uso, that crash out Jey Uso you guys like to talk about a lot because man, I want to say, I don't want to like toot our own horns, but I mean, we were pretty much right about this thing. Jimmy he had a fight. He had a fight in this match. He held his own versus Gunther for, you know, most part of the match, and then Gunther took over. Gunther had the pin. He had the match won, but he broke his own count a couple times, put Jimmy Uso to sleep, and then after the match, the beatdown continues. Now, what we did not get right was the way that this was going to go down. It was done the way that they did it was so believable. Jey Uso got zip tied to the ring, but it wasn't one of those, oh, I'm gonna let you just do it. You know, they were struggling. They made it look good. It was believable. It was dramatic. It was hard to watch. It was kind of painful to watch, not just like in a physical way. Jimmy Uso drew a lot of blood, but also like in like a storytelling, emotional way. Like I literally felt bad for Jey. I literally felt bad for Jimmy. And Gunther crossed the line, rubbing Jimmy's juices all over. Wait, hold on, pause. Juice all over him, you know. I can't say the word. I can't say the word because we'll get.
Just say his Kool-Aid.
His Kool-Aid all
Blood.
over. Yeah.
No, that dude.
Mr.
Nope.
Blood all over him, you know. This was so good. And now we're cooking. And I don't know where BT went because I want to hear what he thinks about this. I can't see him.
He's right there, but you have his visibility turned off.
Oh, let me turn it back on. There we go.
Yeah, pause.
And there you go. There you go, BT. So, again, we're cooking now, you guys. Jimmy and Jey Uso got things going. This feud is getting better now. Same thing with Cena and Cody Rhodes. They got physical. Overall, Monday Night Raw tonight was a much better show compared to Friday Night SmackDown. I really enjoyed this segment with Jimmy and Jey. But I'm going to go with you first, BT. What were your thoughts about this? And can we finally say that this feud is finally cooking?
Yes, on both parts. I was able to see bits of this match. Jimmy put up a hell of a fucking battle. And of course, Gunther has to do his fucking let people get all the offense on him, and then we'll hit a few power bombs and then put the sleeper hold on him. So yeah, we saw that, but notice when he chokes out Jimmy first, right? And you hear Jay's music hit. Jey was haul-assing his way to that fucking ring. He wasn't just, you know, how he just slowly steps his way to the ring. He was haul-assing his way to that fucking ring. So you knew it was on site. That's number one. Number two, when Gunther runs away, you think that's it. And then he decides to come back like a coward. Now he decides to attack security and show more of a furious side when we should have seen that weeks ago. But I digress. We do have our wishes come true. Not only have we seen a more savage side, to Gunther because it's rare to see him beat up security the way that he did. We saw Jimmy bleed. And I legit said this last time that we were on here. I wanted to see Jimmy bleed. And I am so happy that I got my wishes to come true. Rarely
You're an asshole.
do I get my wishes. Rarely do I get my wishes to come true. But I want to digress this for just a couple of seconds. When I say I want Jimmy Uso to bleed, I'm not wishing the worst on him and wishing that his career would be buried, okay? For all of the people that were fucking going crazy on my ass on TikTok. All I want is for Jey and Gunther's story to benefit off of Jimmy's departure. That's all I want. I still want Jimmy to win the US title. I still want Jimmy somewhere down the line to turn heel and possibly put on a better match against Jey than the match that they put on at WrestleMania 40. I want that, okay? I'm not wishing for his downfall, okay? So I want to get that across. But overall, you talk about people caring for this feud more. What a way to make people care. I mean, off of Twitter before I came on here, my mate Kicking It with Ross from In the Clutch, he legit said that he cares more about this feud now because of what happened. Because he was barely giving a fuck. The main thing he was giving a fuck was Cena and Cody, and then the triple threat, Roman, Seth, and Punk. Those were the ones he really cared about. But the fact that you could make him care about this feud more after one segment the next week, that's what I find fucking amazing. So W Triple H for sure. And yeah, we're cooking in this Jey versus Gunther feud. I can't wait to see what more tricks they have. So WJ versus Gunther.
Yeah, and I just want to add before we go on to you, Tommy, is BT is being humble. We all prayed for this to happen. We all wanted to see Jimmy Uso get his ass beat. We called this. We wanted to see it. So when BT says we weren't praying on his downfall, I wanted to see him get his, because it was the only way that this was going to make me care about this feud. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I love you, but I had to see
Drew McIntyre there, Snug. I prayed for this.
Yes.
I prayed for this.
And it happened. Yeah, let's just go on to you because I forgot what I was going to add. Tommy.
This was one hell of a way to make people interested in this feud again. Once again, this is another moment where Triple H actually listens to the damn fans. Once again, actually listening to them. It has been all over that this feud has been dry as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, with the way he did this, in the exact same way that we said, not particularly movement-wise, but still, this is what we wanted. As BT said, we weren't fully preying on his downfall. Snug, shut up. I know what you're thinking. You're over here always doing the same damn thing for the Usos in general. But still, we weren't fully preying on his downfall, but we knew something like this had to happen. Because if it didn't, this feud would be down the drain before WrestleMania even happens. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love Jay's reaction as well, because you don't really hear much of Jey during this, but when you do, you can tell that he's pissed. Because as he is zip tied to that rope, as he's watching Gunther beat the crap out of Jimmy, he said like 5 or 6 times in a row, "I'ma beat your ass." Like, he is pissed.
Yeah, and I just remember the point that I forgot to make is even before this match started, the segment with Jimmy and Jey backstage when Jimmy was getting ready for the match, that's when I started getting worried for Jimmy. That's when I was like, okay, Jimmy, he's about to go into the lion's den right now, you know.
Yeah, one of the ones that I watched during that, they legitimately said, "Jey, are you afraid of Gunther now?" Because as soon as Jey told Jimmy to be careful, that's kind of what it seems like. It seemed like he was scared of what Gunther could do to Jimmy at that point.
Right. And it kind of goes back to what you guys were saying, that Triple H, he listens to the fans, right? So they were kind of putting that idea in our head as we were watching, like, something is about to happen. Something is going to... And then the match starts. Jimmy Uso starts fighting. And then you're thinking, holy shit, Jimmy might actually do this. Gunther gets the win. And then he starts the heat after the match. But then Jey comes out for the save. And I kind of felt relieved, even though I wanted to see this happen. I kind of felt relieved for Jimmy's sake. Like, okay, maybe it's not going to happen like we thought. Jey Uso came out for the save. He saved his brother. Jimmy's going to be okay. I was cool with that. We went to commercial break, and I was like, okay, he's going to be all right. Jimmy's going to be okay. And then we come back from, at least that's how it happened for me. As soon as we came back from commercial break, boom, there goes Gunther on the attack, and it's all bad for Jimmy. So either way, however this thing went, I was into it, man. I was all down for it, and it was lovely. But let's go to Toxic, and then Mr. Blood.
When Jey came out, I am going to quote the very powerful YouTube gamer that is Jacksepticeye. In his head, the first thing that was going through his head, and I guarantee it by the way he was running down, was "Speed is key!"
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but all right. Go ahead, Toxic.
Okay, Snug, that's just because you're old. Anyways, my bad. Going off of what BT said, we at Snug Wrestling do not approve of anything that happened to Jimmy Uso. Let's get into my point. One of the weeks that Gunther choked Jey out, backstage he said that Gunther woke up a damn beast inside of Jey. Tonight, that beast is gone. Jey is a whole new man after this. Like, with any member of the bloodline, when you make them watch as you hurt their family, they're not who they were. They are completely fucking different. You could hear Jey. He said, come here. To Gunther, like he was so fucking mad that he wanted to rip Gunther's head off of his body. He said, "I'm gonna beat your ass 6 separate times." 6. You could see the rage, the fury, the anger inside of Jey's eyes as he was watching. And then whenever Gunther pushed Jimmy over to Jey, it all faded. Until Gunther took him back. Jey is no longer who he was. He's not Crash Out. He's not main event. He is a damn monster. It's on site. Like next week on Raw, I'm thinking it's on site. Gunther's gonna be walking backstage. Jey's gonna see him. It's on fucking site. Yeah, what Tommy's doing, right? Yeah. Gunther is no longer safe from this man. Snug, shut up.
Oh, we will see about that, young toxic. No, he's not. He's a different Jey. He's not main event Jey. He's mid card Jey because he's not main event in WrestleMania. Anyway, go on, Mr. Bell.
Nah, this man is Kaiju Jey. That's what he is right now. He is
don't-
Godzilla Jey.
I don't understand your references, Tommy. I'm sorry. Blood.
A kaiju is what King Kong and Godzilla are. But as far as concerned, I'm still hooked in with the kids and their hip lingo. But as far as it's concerned, I don't know half what these kids say today anyway anymore. You do stuff. Don't worry, you're not. We're both old. But as far as concerned, look, I was out of everybody in this group, I was the biggest naysayer and hater of this feud. I was, and I'll admit that. We all said last week that we needed some color in this. A lot of us agreed, and I believe it was Tommy that actually said it first. He's like, I want color. Tommy did say that first. And we all agreed because Tommy was right. And not only did Triple H listen to us, he heard us. Because I don't think it was lost on him. Because WWE's so hooked into their fandom nowadays. They unlike Vince, these people actually fucking know how to listen. And they actually read the comment sections. They have people on their social media teams that actually comb through Twitter and TikTok and listen to the socials and read comments, and they highlight the things that most of the fans are saying the majority of to see what fans want. That's how you do it. You stay in tune by staying up to date. Something Vince just could not get a fucking hold of for some reason. And color. Remember when Triple H, when we were going to Netflix, and everybody goes, "Oh, that means we'll be losing the PG, and we'll finally have blood back, and this back, and that back." And it's like, dude, Triple H came out and said, you want to use it sparingly because if you use it all the time, it doesn't mean anything. And he was right. You don't use it all the time. And watch. Look, the stuff between Cody and John at the Elimination Chamber wouldn't have meant nearly as much without Cody having color. It put the segment over the edge. It gave it the edge that it in fact needed. Same thing here. Same thing with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre last year in the Cell. It needed just a little bit of a push. It was great, but it just needed that little extra thing. And what was it? Color. It's the same thing here. This entire feud had been lackluster up until the moment that bell rang tonight. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. This segment was horrifically terrible, as the kids say, mid, all the way up until Jimmy slapped the baby teeth out of Gunther's mouth last week. Okay? The moment that happened, it was automatically in a new gear. We just didn't know it yet. But we knew that slap was going to start a chain of events that neither of the twins was going to be prepared for. And tonight, the match was awesome. Jimmy held his own like I wanted him to, ultimately having to succumb to Gunther. And the aftermath was just cinema. Like, literally. There's one thing, and I won't repeat it verbatim, that none of you mentioned. Yes, he shouted, "I'm going to beat your ass 6 times." But when I watched the clip on YouTube, he literally shouted when Adam Pearce and all them got in the ring. He literally said to Gunther, "I'm gonna you." He said that verbatim. "I'm gonna you." He said it. Recorded. Like, dude, and I think you're all wrong when you say this isn't main event Jey Uso, this isn't Crash Out Jey, this is a beast. He's none of those things. You know who Jey is right now? He's a brother. A twin.
Like
right
a brother
now,
or like a brother? Or brother.
No, he's a brother. He's a brother. Like,
Oh.
as you know, let me put it this way. I don't know how Gunther had better have left that arena first because I know me and I know what I've done in my actual life. And I know for a fact that when I was in school, I was the kid who got suspended over and over again because the one thing I did was beat the shit out of the bullies in my school who picked on other kids. I was the kid who saved the other kids, and I got in a lot of trouble for it. But I noticed that the one time that one of those guys went after one of my friends, I almost got arrested and wound up almost expelled, and that kid went to the hospital. Because the one moment you can attack the stranger and I'll protect the friends but my best friend, if you don't leave this school before I do, you're not making it out of the school on your own. And that's the same thing with Gunther. If Gunther didn't get out of that arena before Jey did, if I'm Jey, that man doesn't leave the arena ever. In fact, that's his final resting place. You can ship his carcass back to fucking Austria. Because after what he did to Jimmy, the level of animosity, aggression, rage, the violence that we're going to see ensue over the next 19 days is going to be probably Jay's best work since mid-story bloodline with Sammy. This is going to be phenomenal. And the one thing I am worried about is that when the bell rings at Mania, they're just going to have a match. And it can't just be that anymore. It can be a single fall, whatever, pinpoint, fine. But this better be Jimmy coming out the gate and giving Gunther work like that motherfucker is a slave on the railroads.
Out the gate.
This shit is out the gate. As soon as the bell rings, out the gate, Jimmy needs to fucking come out that gate like a fucking racehorse. Pounce on Gunther and give that man the work like this motherfucker is standing in a labor-ready line. Okay? You can't do what you do to someone's family. You don't mess with a man's family. Look, notice how when it came to Cody and John, they said everything to each other except mention kids, exes, and parents. You don't mess with a man's family because it crosses a line you can't walk your ass back over. And he didn't just mention the man's family. He almost took his family out. And that shot of Gunther from chin down to neck, chest, color, he even tasted it.
He had to make sure it was blood.
But literally. He literally dabbed it and spit it out. Almost saying, dirty fucking blood. Like this was so personal on so many levels, right down to the idiosyncrasies. This match, and like we said with the John Cena and the Cody Rhodes set, you just made me care. Job well done. Sold.
It's
I'll
personal
see it,
now,
man.
y'all. It's personal now.
And that's what it needed to be. Sometimes it can't. Look, here's the thing. It can't just be about titles and championships all the fucking time. That's fine. We can have a match over a fucking belt made out of metals. What's the story about? Why do I care? I care now. I really care now. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can have a match at Mania for a title because you won the Royal Rumble. Why does it matter? Because we'll get that next year, and the year after, and the year after that.
All right.
This
Toxic
brought me to the dance.
And BT.
I just want to add two things. I don't know when it was. It was sometime today. I think maybe after that whole segment. But Gunther posted on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, and it was a picture of him covered in Jimmy's blood, and it said, "Welcome to hell." I'm kind of getting more interested is more like as soon as we only got like what 2 or 3 weeks until Mania.
3.
3? Okay, yeah. So I'm excited for these 3 or 2 weeks. Also, I'm going to agree with Michael Cole. After this, he said, Gunther is a damn hypocrite. He says, the mat is sacred. He's trying to be the best competitor that he can be. And now he's, sneak attacking. He's playing dirty. He's doing all this. He's right. Gunther's a damn hypocrite. When he was in NXT 2.0 and when he won the Intercontinental Championship, it was all about being the best he could be while still being heel. Now, it's just all sneak attacks. It's not giving a damn. It's not giving a damn about the mat like he would say all the time. He's just going to do what he wants because he's scared. He's scared that he's not going to impress anyone. And Snug, I see you shaking your head that you probably don't agree, but I don't know. I'm going to shut up before I say something.
This is Crash Out Gunther. Jey Uso, you better watch out, boy. Gunther's coming for you. He's pissed. He's pissed now. Go ahead, BT.
Yeah, I just wanted to capitalize off of what Mr. Blood said about the titles not being the main focus. That's exactly right. It doesn't always have to be the main focus. Otherwise, why the fuck is Roman, Seth, and Punk main eventing WrestleMania? Because of the history and the hatred that they have for each other. That's one of the main reasons why they're main eventing WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't always have to be about a title. And motherfuckers and even we were trying to fucking decipher a way to make it about a title. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Add them into the John Cena and John Cena and Cody Rhodes feud.
They're the same
and make
people,
it a triple
so
threat.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
But why? Why do we have to insert them just to make it a title? Because Roman Reigns is in it? And we want to see him win a title again? Or maybe because CM Punk has talked about winning a title at WrestleMania before? All he wanted was to main event WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And what Mr. Blood said the other time we were here as well, the nail in the coffin in that feud to end that story is if CM Punk wins it. That's exactly right. But with the point that he made, he's absolutely right. It doesn't always have to be about a title.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to sit there and say that the women deserve to main event. Here's the thing. I want the women to main event of WrestleMania more. I do. But there's a big difference between having a good match and stealing the show and then having a proper build to it.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. And it sucks. It really sucks. So Triple H really needs to pull his head out of his ass with the women's division because Tiffany versus Charlotte is the most infuriating women's feud that I have watched on SmackDown. And then when it comes to Raw, the most infuriating feud to watch is Rhea, Bianca, and Io. Because the booking and the build doesn't make any fucking sense.
We're gonna get into that, BT. So don't get ahead of us. But no, you guys are absolutely right. That's why when people ask me, "Hey Edgar, what do you think about bringing back the hardcore title or the cruiserweight title?" Or we even saw there's some pictures going around before Monday Night Raw today. There was a podium that looked like it was they were going to present a new title tonight. And I'm like, Jesus, we don't need any more titles. We have enough titles going around right now. But yeah, going back to what you said, BT, yeah, give the women a shot to main event at WrestleMania, but give us a story behind it. Give us a WrestleMania main event feud for the women so they can main event WrestleMania. Why not? That would be dope. Tommy, did you have anything else to add on to this before we move on?
Yeah, for one, Blood, you kept saying the wrong twin. when it comes to the WrestleMania match, you kept saying Jimmy. It's Jey.
It's the same person. Doesn't matter. You can't
But
tell them apart.
this is what I'm going to say on this. Jay's pissed. And rightfully so. I mean, he just watched his twin brother get beaten the crap out of to the point where his forehead was gushing out like it's a damn gusher.
Probably was a gusher.
And you expect him not to be pissed at this? As the older brother, I can tell you right now exactly what I would do in that situation. It'd be over. It'd be over for Gunther. He'd be out before that match even started. That is how big I am when it comes to that. Like, the brotherly instinct kicks in real quick as soon as you see your family in danger. It's just true. And I think that's the reason why Gunther zip-tied him to the ropes. Because he knew that by making him watch while being zip-tied, he would attempt to get to him. That's why he teased him a little bit, pushing him towards him, and said no, and pulled him back. It's because he wanted him to be that pissed off.
Yeah. Nah, that's why I like this segment too. Tommy, you mentioned it, you being an older brother and everything. Me too, I'm the oldest of 3 boys, so I definitely can relate to this type of storytelling that they did here. So it was kind of hard to watch, it was kind of hard to watch. But also at the same time, it was kind of hard to look away. It was a very, very good job. But